Hi everyone, and welcome back as I continue my review of The Prisoner in the order that I prefer watching the series. So let's get straight down to it, shall we? A change of mind. The episode starts off with number 6 having a workout in his private gym outside and is rudely interrupted by a couple of village thugs. And there's a scuffle, and obviously number 6 gets the upper hand of them. One of them then turns round and says, "I'm going to report you to the committee." So yes, we're off. And so number 6 is summoned to the committee for being antisocial. And he's warned he's got to improve his behaviour. In other words, things will escalate and he won't like what will happen to him if it goes that far down the path. So at this stage, number 6 has been warned. His warning goes out in the local newspaper, the Tally Ho, and people are sort of ignoring number 6. And of course, number 6 walks into his house, and behold, number 2. Number 2 warns number 6 that he is powerless to intervene or help number 6. Yes, that already sounds a bit suspect, doesn't it? Anyway, they have a conversation. It goes on for a little while, and then number 86 walks in. She has been posted, she's gone through the procedure, and now she's there to help number 6 back into the community before things escalate. Yes. Well, first of all, he goes off to this group therapy, and it doesn't go very well at the group therapy. They all turn on number 6, calling him a reactionary and a rebel and disharmonious. And then number 6 departs for his annual checkup at the hospital. Well, obviously he's in tip-top form, isn't he? And he comes across a man who has undergone instant social conversion. He's completely calm, he's rational, all the hostility's gone from him. But unfortunately, yes, number 6 being number 6, following the typical pattern, is called to the committee once more, who declare number 6 as unmutual. And his actions are to be reported to the committee, whatever they are. And so what happens is the whole village is against number 6. They are sheep, as number 6 would put it. They ignore number 6, they give him filthy looks, the usual thing to sort of put number 6 into the wilderness. And after being ignored by the village, he goes back home, he's on the radio. Number 6 is going to undergo treatment at the hospital. And he's forcibly dragged to the hospital by the village. And obviously he's jabbed, so he's now doped. And he's on the operating room table. And this thing called instant social conversion is underway. Or is it? Well, to number 6, it looks like he has definitely undergone it, because he's acting a little differently. He's not so aggressive. He's much more calmer. But is he really? Has he really undergone this treatment? Well, we don't really know, but number 6 is alert enough to note when number 86 is making him a cup of tea, she has slipped something into his tea, which he promptly disposes of when she's gone to get him a rug. And a bit later, number 2 walks in. And yes, he's there for a reason, isn't he, old number 2? It's time for that chat, number 6. Why did you resign? Well, it doesn't go very well for number 2. Anyway, number 2 doesn't get the answers he wants, so he returns back to the Green Dome with number 86. Now, 86 is rather bemused that number 6 is starting to act aggressive, hostile, and she doesn't understand it because she believes that she has drugged number 6. Number 2 thinks, okay, he's acting a bit aggressive, but why don't you pop on back and give him another nice cup of tea with another dose of sedatives? So that's exactly what she does. She goes back to meet number 6 to make him a nice cup of tea, which he declines. And he basically, what happens is that number 6 has some ways turned the tables. He knows he's being drugged. So he turns the tables on number 86, observes her slipping the drug into the tea, swaps the cups, and now it's number 86 who's high as a kite and acting rather weird. And number 2 is outraged by this because obviously he's viewing this from the Green Dome, his office, and he puts out his general call to number 86 to report back to number 2 because he's concerned that she's going to ruin everything. So she leaves number 6. Number 6 has already had a look at his wound on his head, removed the plaster. So there is a scar, and this sort of gets backed up by the gentleman he met at the hospital again, because number 6 goes outside. He says, well, you should know, referring, to number 6. So it's a bit tricky. Has number 6 undergone this treatment or not? He doesn't know, but he knows something's going on. Anyway, number 6 has a run-in with the thugs at the start of the episode. They knock him around a bit, and then suddenly number 6 comes round. He gets the upper hand and punches their lights out. So that's them dealt with. Now, obviously, number 6 is now much more alert. He knows they're doing something to him. He's got some of the pieces, but he hasn't got all the pieces. But fortunately for him, he's about to run into 86, who he then hypnotizes, and he gets a full report out of 86. 86 basically says number 6 did not go through the whole treatment of instant social conversion. It was just an elaborate hoax to make number 6 think that he did. Anyway, so number 6 gives some instructions to number 86. Because number 6 is about to turn the tables on number 2. He gives number 2 a call. He says, I'm popping on over to have a chat with you. And of course, number 2's delighted by this. Absolutely over the moon. And the reason for this, obviously, is number 2 now finally thinks, well, this number 2, he's the one who succeeded. He's the one who's going to get the answers out of number 6. But number 6 baits him and says, I want to talk to the village, the community, thank everyone for this great treatment I've undergone. And basically say to them, stop resisting, tell everything to number 2. And so they go to the town square, and number 6 gives out this speech. The clock strikes, and suddenly number 86 appears on the scene, declaring number 2 as unmutual. And the tables have been turned on number 2. And number 6 then rises up and tells the village to reject number 2. And basically that's what sort of happens. Number 2 is marched off and then chased off back to his dome by the village. They're calling him unmutual. Yep. Number 2 has failed. And so the episode ends with the ever faithful butler walking along the path towards the green dome. And on that note, we'll head straight into my final thoughts on this one. Right, so here we go with my final thoughts on A Change of Mind. This episode is in some ways similar to A, B and C in the terms of the ending, how number 6 turns the tables on number 2. This is a very subtle operation by number 2, you could say, in trying to convince number 6 that number 2, is powerless to intervene and help number 6 if the committee hearings go against him. Well, that's, That's, well, if I was number 6, that would alert me. That would alert me that, aye, you're up to something again, number 2. And that's exactly what the whole plan is to turn number 6 into an unmutual, to cast him out into the wilderness, to make him despised by the village to such an extent that number 6 will undergo this instant social conversion treatment. And in many ways, it looks like number 6 has gone through this. But number 6 has been down this road so many times with their trickery, you could say, and he's too observant. And that's exactly what happens, because even after this so-called treatment, number 6 spots number 86 making a cup of tea, and hang on, what's that she's slipping into the tea? And he's already got enough going on in his mind, you could say, to formulate they are up to something here. He's got enough of the pieces, so he fights back. And eventually he does. He turns the tables on number 86, swaps the cups of tea, and meets up with her later on when she's high as a kite, hypnotises her, gets the answers he needs. Then he focuses on number 2, and he plays to number 2, I'll tell you everything, but we've got to go and see the village. We've got to see everyone in the village and tell them to stop resisting. You're a fantastic guy, number 2. And number 2 just falling for this hook, line and sinker. And that's exactly what happens. And of course, down in the town square, number 86 turns up and declares number 2 unmutual, and the tables are turned. Yeah, so it's a subtle attempt by number 2 to get the answers, but unfortunately number 6 has been in the village far too long, and he's much more alert and on the ball. Even in a drugged haze that he was in, there was enough alertness there to warn him that they were up to something. Yeah, so Change Your Mind is indeed a good episode. And on that note, as usual, you can decide out of the remaining episodes which one I'll be reviewing next. So, have a great day, everyone, and I'll see you in due course on the next one. Be seeing you.